Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be showing you how to make sweet milk bread with pandan custard. I'll be sharing with you my recipe on how to make pandan custard from scratch. The pandan custard is made with a few ingredients and it has a coconutty sweet taste with a touch of pandan flavor. And this flavoring complements this bread very well. This is how my pandan custard looks like. To make the custard in a bowl, add in 3 egg yolk, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, 1/3 cup of granulated sugar, 1 cup of coconut milk. Mix these together. Add in 1 teaspoon of pandan paste. Mix until the pandan paste is incorporated. In a non-stick pan, cook your pandan custard over medium heat. Continue to stir and scrape the edges to make sure that your custard cooks thoroughly. When the custard starts to boil, turn down the heat to low and cook the custard till thickened. Just so you are aware, the custard may not be at the consistency that you desire, but once you remove it from the heat and let it cool, it will thicken up more. When your custard has reached the consistency that you almost desire, remove it from the heat and pour it into a bowl. Place it in the refrigerator for 30 minutes to 1 hour to cool and to thicken up. This is how my custard looks like after 30 minutes of being in the refrigerator. These are the ingredients for the dough. In a bowl of a stand mixer fitted with a whisk attachment, add in the heavy cream, milk, and 1 egg. Mix these together. Your egg should be at room temperature. If it is not, you can submerge the egg in warm water for 3 minutes prior to use. The milk and the heavy cream should be slightly warm to touch. Microwave them for 50 seconds. Depending on your microwave, you may need to microwave a few seconds longer or shorter. Make sure the milk and the heavy cream are not too hot, or else the heat can damage your yeast. You will know if it's too hot if you dip 1 finger in the milk and the heavy cream and you cannot keep your finger submerged in the milk or heavy cream. Add in your sugar next. Now add in your yeast. Change out your whisk attachment and attach the dough hook, and then add your all-purpose flour. Turn the mixture on low stir to stir the ingredients until the powders are moistened, which takes about 1 to 2 minutes. Turn your mixture off and add the salt, and then turn the mixer on to speed 4 to knead the dough. The dough should gather in the center of the bowl and should be slapping the side of the bowl while making some slapping sounds. This is a sound that your dough is almost ready. Continue this for 5 minutes, then turn off. This is how your dough should look like. The dough should look like it's stuck to the hook and a little bit stuck at the bottom of the bowl. Gather the dough into a ball and dust it with all-purpose flour. Dust the dough with all-purpose flour and make it into a smooth ball. This is how the dough texture should look like. Cover the bowl with saran wrap and set it aside for 2 hours until the size is double. This is the dough at 1 hour, and this is the dough at 2 hours. After 2 hours, the dough should have doubled the size. Remove the saran wrap and punch the dough in the center to remove the ear. Using your hand, knead the dough for 2 minutes, or you can place it back in the stand mixer to knead the dough. On a flour surface, divide the dough into 2 equal portions. Set aside 1/2 portion for later use. Roll half of the dough into a large rectangle about 5 millimeter thickness. I am cutting this in half because I am doing 2 different flavors. If you are doing just one flavor, then you do not need a cut. I am doing one side with the Pandan Custard that I made, and the other side is with ube halea jam, which I will show soon. Here is the ube halea jam that I bought from a local Asian store since I ran out of my homemade one from scratch. If you would like the recipe on my ube halea, I will link that down below. Gently spread a small amount to cover the top of the dough. With the side of the dough facing you, roll the dough into a tight log. Roll to stretch the dough just slightly. Then cut the dough into 14 to 16 pieces that are about 3/4 inches thick, or whatever preference you prefer. This is one way that I shape my dough. You can shape your dough to whichever that you prefer. Butter your pan. Place your dough into the pan. Make sure you leave some space between each because we are going to cover these with saran wrap, and then we're going to let it sit for another hour, and they will again rise for another hour. With the other half of the dough, roll and shape the dough to your preference. This is another way that I like to shape my dough. Cover your dough and let it sit for 1 hour to rise. This is how the dough will look like after 1 hour of sitting. If you would like your bread to have a slightly golden top, whisk 1 egg white and 1 tablespoon of cold water. Lightly brush the top of your dough before baking. Preheat your oven to 330 degrees Fahrenheit. Bake the rolls for 16 minutes or longer depending on how you shape your dough. The top should be lightly golden. And here's the final product of our bread rolls. The bread is so soft and almost elastic. You can store leftovers in a covered container for 2 days or refrigerate and then warm in the microwave for 10 to 12 seconds to reheat. Thanks for watching, and I hope you'll give this recipe a try. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Goodbye.